Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Podcast, your favorite place for easy English conversations and daily listening practice. I'm Tom.
And I'm Anna. We are so happy you're here with us today. This is the podcast where you learn real English from real everyday conversations, not from long, boring grammar rules. How are you doing today, Tom?
To be honest, Anna, I'm a little tired. I had a very difficult day at work yesterday. I felt like nobody was really listening to me.
Oh no, really? I know that feeling. It is so frustrating when you talk, but the other person is just looking at their computer or checking their phone.
Exactly, and that is actually why I am so excited about our topic today. We are going to talk about a superpower, an underrated skill that can fix almost every mistake we make when we talk at work. We are talking about active listening.
Active listening? That sounds a bit serious, Tom, like a business lesson. Is it going to be difficult?
No, not at all. You know me, Anna. I like to keep things simple. Active listening just means listening with your whole brain, not just your ears. It's about learning to absorb what the other person is saying.
Absorb. That is a great word. Like a sponge with water, right? A sponge absorbs water until it's completely full. So when we listen, we need to absorb the words and the feelings of the other person.
Exactly. You are already a pro at this, Anna. But yesterday at my office, my manager did not absorb anything. I was trying to explain a big problem with our new project, and he just said, okay, good, while typing an email.
Ouch, that hurts. It makes you feel unimportant, right? Like your words don't matter.
Yes, exactly. It made me lose my confidence. I started to speak faster, my voice got quiet, and I felt so nervous. But then I remembered something important. We can make ourselves feel more confident by changing small habits, like standing straight, speaking slowly, and believing in ourselves, even when we feel nervous.
That is so true. When someone is not listening to you, you have to stay strong, stand tall. But Tom, how can we fix this? How can we become better listeners for other people?
Well, the first big step is to be attentive. This means giving 100% of your attention to the person who is speaking. No phones, no computers, no thinking about your lunch.
Wow, no thinking about lunch? That is hard for me, Tom. I love food. But seriously, being attentive is a beautiful gift you give to someone. It means you are fully present.
It really is. And it's not just about the words they say. A big part of being attentive is watching nonverbal cues.
Nonverbal cues? Wait, let's explain that for our listeners. Verbal means words, right? So nonverbal means without words.
Yes, nonverbal cues are the things we do with our bodies, like smiling, nodding your head, or looking someone in the eyes. Even how a person sits can tell you if they are sad, angry, or excited.
So if a coworker is speaking to me, but their hands are shaking and they're looking at the floor, those are nonverbal cues. They mean the person is probably nervous or stressed, even if they say, "I'm fine."
Exactly, you're reading their body language. When you see those cues, you can help them feel safe. And that brings us to our next target word, validate.
Validate. That sounds like a big word, but it's actually very warm. To validate someone means to show them that their feelings are real and important. You don't have to agree with them completely, but you say, "I understand why you feel this way."
Yes, it builds a bridge between two people. Yesterday, if my manager had just looked at me and said, "Tom, I see that you are worried about this project, and I understand why," that would validate my feelings. I would feel so much better.
Right, it changes everything. But what happens if we don't understand the person? Workplace communication can be confusing. Sometimes people use difficult words or give too much information.
That's where the ultimate listening tool comes in. It's a verb called paraphrase.
Paraphrase? How do we use that in a conversation?
To paraphrase means to say the same thing the other person said, but with your own words. It proves that you listened and understood. For example, if you tell me, "Tom, I have too many tasks today, my computer is broken, and I feel like crying," I can paraphrase it. I can say, "So Anna, it sounds like you are having a really stressful day and you need some help."
Oh, I love that. When you paraphrase my words, I know for sure that you absorbed everything. It stops mistakes before they happen.
It really does. It fixes 90% of errors because you check the information immediately. You don't guess.
This is so powerful, Tom. Let's do a quick check of our 5 target words today for our awesome listeners. We have absorb, attentive, nonverbal cues, validate, and paraphrase.
Perfect summary, Anna. You see, listening like a pro isn't about being silent. It's about being active. It transforms how we talk to people.
I agree, and it starts with those small habits we talked about, standing straight, speaking clearly, and believing in yourself. When you feel confident, you can open your heart and really listen to others.
You know, Anna, I actually read a story about a big company. They spent thousands of dollars trying to fix problems between their teams. They thought the workers needed better computers, but do you know what the real problem was?
Let me guess, they weren't listening to each other?
Exactly. The managers were not attentive and the employees did not validate each other's ideas. When they learned to paraphrase during meetings, the mistakes stopped. They didn't need new computers at all.
Wow, that saves a lot of money. It shows that communication is not about technology, it's about human connection. But Tom, sometimes when I try to listen actively, my mind wanders. I start thinking about what I want to say next. How do I stop that?
That is a very common trap. We often listen to reply, not to understand. When you catch your brain doing that, you have to softly bring your focus back. Look at the person's nonverbal cues again. Look at their eyes. It forces your brain to stay in the present moment.
That makes sense. It takes practice, doesn't it? It's like a muscle. If you go to the gym once, you don't get strong immediately. You have to go every week.
Yes, a conversational gym. Every time you choose to listen instead of checking your phone, you're lifting a small weight for your brain.
I like that image, me lifting weights with my ears. But really, it makes the other person feel so respected. Imagine a workplace where everyone does this.
It would be a dream, Anna. No more stressful emails saying, "But I told you this yesterday," because if you paraphrase it yesterday, you both know it's done right.
True. I think another challenge is when someone is angry. When a coworker is shouting or upset, it's very hard to stay calm and absorb their words without getting angry yourself.
Oh, definitely. When someone is angry, our natural reaction is to protect ourselves. We get defensive, our posture changes. But that's exactly when you need to stand straight, breathe slowly, and look for the feeling behind the anger. Usually, anger comes from fear or frustration.
The feeling behind the anger? So if a client calls me and is very upset about a late report, they aren't just angry at me, they might be scared they'll look bad to their own boss.
Spot on. You just read the situation perfectly. If you see that fear, you can validate it. You can say, "I understand this delay causes a big problem for your timeline." Immediately, the anger drops because they feel heard.
That is magic, Tom, pure magic. It turns a fight into a solution.
It really does. It takes the heat out of the conversation. And then you can paraphrase the next steps so you both leave the conversation happy.
We talk a lot about the workplace, but I feel like this works at home too, with family, with close friends. Sometimes we think we know what they're going to say, so we stop being attentive.
That's a dangerous habit. We take the people closest to us for granted. We stop looking for their nonverbal cues because we think we know them completely. But people change and their needs change.
True. I'm going to try this tonight with my sister. Usually when she speaks, I'm cooking dinner or looking at my tablet. Tonight, I will sit down, be completely attentive, and just absorb.
She will probably ask you if you're feeling okay. It'll be a nice surprise for her.
Probably. She'll say, "Anna, why are you staring at me like that?" But I will tell her I'm just practicing being a pro listener.
And that's the beauty of it. It spreads positivity. When you listen to someone like that, they are more likely to listen to you next time. It creates a good cycle.
You know, Tom, looking back at your story from yesterday, your manager missed a big opportunity. By not validating your concerns, he missed important information about the project.
He did, and it caused a mistake later in the afternoon. We had to redo a whole section of the report. If he had just taken 2 minutes to paraphrase what I was saying, we would have saved 2 hours of redoing.
Wow, 2 minutes of listening saves 2 hours of redoing. That's a huge lesson.
Exactly. That's why I say it fixes 90% of errors. It's an investment of time, not a waste of time.
I love that phrase, an investment of time.
Another thing that helps is asking open questions, not just questions that end with yes or no, but questions that let the person explain more. It shows you want to absorb the details.
Right, like instead of asking, is the project finished, you can ask, how are you feeling about the progress of the project? That gives them room to talk about their feelings and challenges.
Exactly. It opens the door. And while they are answering, you are watching their nonverbal cues. You are being attentive, and then you paraphrase to make sure you got it right.
Look at us. We are building a whole system here, the active listening system.
We should write a book, Anna. But for now, a podcast is perfect. I really hope our listeners can see how these small changes in their daily habits can change their whole experience at work.
Yes, even if you feel nervous or if your English is not perfect yet, you can be an amazing listener. In fact, sometimes when you are learning a language, you naturally become a better listener because you have to focus so hard to absorb the words.
Wow, Anna, that is a beautiful point. I never thought about it that way. Our English learners actually have a secret advantage because they are already practicing deep focus every time they listen to us.
Exactly. They are already training their brains to be attentive. They just need to bring that same energy into their daily conversations at work or school.
That is a very empowering thought. It means learning English isn't just about memorizing vocabulary lists. It is about developing better human skills overall.
Yes, it makes you a more empathetic person. When you listen to understand rather than just to speak, you connect with the world on a deeper level.
It really changes your presence in a room. When you walk into a meeting feeling confident, standing tall, ready to listen and absorb, people notice. They respect that quiet confidence.
They really do. It's much more powerful than someone who just talks loudly all the time without saying anything important.
We all know those people who love the sound of their own voice. They talk and talk, but they don't observe any nonverbal cues from the room. Everyone is looking at their watches, but the speaker just keeps going.
That is the opposite of a pro. We definitely don't want to be like that.
So if we look at the big picture, active listening is about balance. It's a balance between speaking clearly with confidence and opening up your attention to receive information.
I like that. It's a two-way street. You cannot have good communication if the traffic only goes one direction.
Exactly. And for our beginners listening today, don't worry if you can't remember all these tools at once. Just choose one for tomorrow. Tomorrow at work, just focus on being attentive. Leave the phone in your bag during a conversation. That alone is a massive victory.
Yes, start small. And then the next day, try to paraphrase one simple thing a coworker says. Just say, so, if I understand correctly, you mean, and see how they react. I bet they will smile and look relieved.
They definitely will. It feels amazing when someone confirms they understand you. It makes the workplace feel like a team, not just a group of individuals working next to each other.
You know, Tom, thinking about the vocabulary words we use today, they all connect so beautifully. If you are attentive, you notice the nonverbal cues. If you notice those cues, you can validate their feelings. And to show you absorbed it all, you paraphrase.
Look at you. That was a masterclass in summarizing, Anna. You tied all 5 target words together in one sentence.
Well, I was listening very closely to my favorite podcast co-host. I had to practice what we preach.
And I feel very validated right now. Thank you. It feels great to be heard.
It really does, Tom. It's a fundamental human need. Everyone wants to feel seen and heard, from the CEO of a company to the newest intern on their first day.
That is so true, especially for new people out of job. They are so nervous, their body language is tense, and they're afraid to make communication errors. If an experienced coworker takes the time to listen actively to them, it can change their whole career path.
Wow, that's a big responsibility, but also a beautiful opportunity. We can support each other just by changing how we listen.
Absolutely. It costs nothing but a little bit of focus, and the reward is huge.
I'm also thinking about how this helps with resolving conflicts. Sometimes people have disagreements at work because they think they want different things. But when they actually listen and absorb the core message, they realize they want the same goal. They just have different ways of getting there.
Yes, most arguments are just misunderstandings. Someone used the wrong word, or someone else was distracted and missed a key point. Paraphrasing acts like a safety net that catches those misunderstandings before they turn into a real argument.
A safety net is a great way to describe it. It keeps the conversation safe and productive.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening out there, think about your own day. Think about your interactions at work or with your friends. Are you just hearing the noise, or are you truly absorbing the message?
It's a question we should all ask ourselves regularly. It keeps us honest and helps us grow.
Definitely. I'm certainly going to change my approach tomorrow. Even if my manager is busy, I will try to stand straight, speak with confidence, and make sure we are on the same page by using these tools.
That sounds like a great plan, Tom. I'm sure tomorrow will be much better than yesterday. You have the tools and you have the confidence.
Thanks, Anna. Talking it through with you always helps me see things clearly. That's the power of a good conversation.
That's what friends are for, Tom. And honestly, having this conversation with you makes me realize how much I need to practice these habits too. We're both learning every day.
We really are, and that's a good reminder for our listeners as well. Learning is a journey. You don't become a master of active listening overnight, and your English doesn't become perfect in one day. The important thing is to keep trying.
Exactly. You know, Tom, we still have a few minutes left before we wrap up today's episode. I was thinking maybe we can give our listeners a small, fun challenge to try this week, something very simple that they can do at their workplace or even with a family member.
Oh, I love challenges. What's your idea, Anna?
Okay, so here's the challenge. The next time you're having a conversation with someone at work, I want you to focus completely on their nonverbal cues for just 2 minutes. Don't worry about what you're going to say next. Just look at their eyes. Notice if they're smiling and see if they look relaxed or stressed. Try to really absorb their energy.
That is a fantastic challenge. It sounds simple, but it actually requires a lot of focus. And I want to add a second part to it. If they finish speaking and you're a little bit confused, try to paraphrase what they said. You can use a very simple phrase like, "So, if I understand correctly, you mean," or "If I understand correctly, you want me to."
Yes, that's perfect. Those simple English phrases are amazing tools for beginners. They give you a moment to think, and they show the other person that you are being very attentive. It's a win-win.
It really is. I think if our listeners try this just once or twice this week, they will see a big change. People will notice that you are listening to them with your whole heart, and they will respect you for it. It builds so much trust.
It truly does. Well, Tom, look at the time. Our 20 minutes are almost up for today. Time flies when you're having a great conversation and practicing active listening.
It really does. I don't feel tired at all anymore. Talking about this with you has given me so much energy.
I'm so glad to hear that, Tom. And to all our wonderful listeners out there, thank you so much for spending these 20 minutes with us today on the English Podcast. You didn't just listen to an episode, you invested this time in improving your skills and your confidence.
Yes, thank you, everyone. We are so proud of you for practicing your English with us. Don't forget to practice those small habits this week. Stand straight, believe in yourself, and be an attentive listener.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like it, subscribe to our channel, and share it with a friend who's also learning English. We love hearing from you, so leave a comment below and let us know if you try our active listening challenge.
Until next time, keep practicing, be kind to yourself, and listen like a pro. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.